So I kind of want to hit on a few reasons as to why you should go ahead and buy something like a Samsung Galaxy Note 10 in 2024. Now, I kind of do think for the average person, it really doesn't make any sense to go and buy a phone like this at all. This phone is pretty outdated, there's not really too much going for it, but if you had to, I still think there are some reasons why you should go ahead and buy this phone. Now, first of all, this phone isn't like the most outdated thing of all time. This thing still has some capability and some power behind it, which could give it somewhat of an edge of picking up if you really wanted it to. For example, I think the build quality of this phone is still very much up there. It still feels like a fairly expensive phone, and this thing still has a glass back on it, and it still looks and feels fairly premium. And I would say, if you needed to go ahead and buy a phone, this thing is not an ugly device, and it still looks very, very good for the most part. You're getting a pretty big display. You're getting, the USB Type-C port with Samsung DeX inside of it too, which is another really cool feature. And I would probably say for the, average phone that you buy nowadays, this thing is just missing a frosted glass back. Other than that, this is still a very, very good looking phone in my personal opinion, at least from that side. So from that side, I would say from the exterior, definitely gets a thumbs up for me. But with the display itself, it's still a very good display. It's not a, 120 hertz display, it's still 60 hertz, but it's an OLED display. It's, basically like a good looking display for the most part, whole punch display at that as well. So I'd probably say from that side, it definitely is a very, very good feature going on for this particular phone too. And I kind of do think if you're going to go ahead and buy a phone, this is not a bad option whatsoever. And I do think that in and of itself is a very cool thing going on here. I'd also say the performance of this phone, albeit not the best performing phone anymore, it still is not that bad. It's not a terrible performing device. And if you had to use a phone on an everyday basis, depending on what you're trying to do, you could probably have a pretty good time with a phone like this for the most part. The only disadvantage with this type of phone, one, it's not the most amount of RAM. It's not the newest chipset that we have anymore either. So this phone is a little bit outdated when it comes down to that side. But for basic things, and even for a little bit more powerful things you wanted to get into, it's not really a terrible performing device from that side either. Really, the only issue I would say you're going to run into is probably with the software. The software is a little bit outdated, but I do think if you're not looking to use this phone for another 2 years, if you're only looking to use it maybe for another couple of months or for a year max, you might be able to get an okay performing phone out of this thing for the most part. So although, this would not be the first phone I'd recommend, this, there are so many other phones that I recommend buying before this thing. I still think this phone still has some things going for it in, some ways. And, those are just some reasons why I'd recommend still buying it. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. The like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.